Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome back to another episode of this Ferrari challenge. We are now on episode 3 of season 2. As you can notice if you're probably looking at this screen, we've got a new face pack from the designer of the mod that we use from Enzoli. You can't quite see it on the car, but we've managed to get the sponsors back as well because Enzoli had released an update which brings the mod in line with the patch. So we've got all the real track names back, we've got most of the real sponsors back. If you look here, we've got one that says Eve. It doesn't quite match up, it is supposed to be Sprint on there, but there must be some sort of problem with the file that means that we can't get that. Obviously if you look here, we've got 3 offers available at the moment. We're not accepting it at the moment. Rolex will probably be the one that we accept because this is worth 1 million per race over 10 races. This one's worth just under about 900,000 I think, whereas this one from KPMG, we can obviously improve on this one because this is a holdover from last season. It's a 3-star sponsor. Obviously we can get a 5-star sponsor, so we're just going to wait and see whether we can get another sponsor in this slot here, whether that beats out Rolex, and we'll go from that point on. As you can see, we are also in the red now. Balance wise, we're 3.5 million overdrawn. That's because I've built some new parts to the car, trying to get both of our cars up to about the same level, so Perez and Vettel are in equal machinery. Also on the HQ, I've started building a scouting facility just so I can see Charles Leclerc, because I think he's hidden behind whatever it is that hides him. We do need the first level scouting facility obviously to hopefully find Charles Leclerc, so when Max Schumacher probably gets one of the seats next year, Charles Leclerc can come in as a reserve driver. I've also gone for a handling development centre. That should be done before the end of the season. Obviously it will be done before the end of the season because suspension is the part that's worst on our car at the moment, and that is what I want to get built this season. So suspension is where we're going to focus a little bit more than the other parts for next season, so that's where we're at. We are clearing 2.7 per race. We will obviously, once we fill in this, we'll be well into the 3 million, because obviously we're always going to go with Santander, who will give us 1.7 per race for winning and qualifying in first, which is obviously, with the type of car that we've got, is very achievable. So other than that, we're going to jump straight into Shanghai. It looks like it's going to be dry all weekend. There's going to be no problems here. Engine, gearbox, brakes, all parts that we've got massively advanced parts in, so we should have no problems here. Once again, it's going to be 26 laps, so it's going to be a 2-stopper. We're going to go soft, medium, soft. But anyway, I'm going to run practice now. Hopefully we can get a nice, good setup to give us a nice, even quicker car, and we'll see how we do in qualifying when we come back. So here we go with our qualifying lap. We're probably going to be only doing one, depending on how close things get towards the end of this session, depending on how close the other cars are. But Perez, as usual, is first round. Perez is actually going quicker than Vettel in the first sector there. I don't think that's going to hold up for the second sector. Or is it? Yeah, Vettel's going a little bit quicker now. So Perez goes quickest with a 109.045. There's no trouble there from keeping that position from Hamilton on the last lap, so we're definitely not going to be doing another lap here. So this is going to be the end of our qualifying session. Vettel 0.6 quicker than Perez, so that's where we're going to leave qualifying 1-2. Currently Mercedes are 3 and 4. Alonso's pretty high up, but we'll come back when it's race time, see how everyone else did qualifying wise, and we'll get straight into the race from there. So it's race time. We managed to keep places 1 and 2 on the grid. I'm thinking about, just before we go down the grid, I'm thinking about skipping qualifying in future and just simming it, just because we're so far ahead on 1 and 2. It just seems a lot of time to waste just to hit through, just to do one lap. It might be better just to skip qualifying just so I can improve my video output. Maybe something I'm thinking about. Let me know in the comments down below. If you really like the qualifying, I will keep it. If you don't, then maybe I could think about skipping it. But anyway, here is the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel, Sergio Perez are prancing horses right there, number 1 and 2. Second row of the grid, we've got Lewis Hamilton in the Silver Arrow, Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull. Rounding out the third row of the grid, we've got Max Verstappen in the other Red Bull. Nico Rosberg doing pretty well for once in the Williams car. He's been a little bit off form so far in this Williams car. I think he's been beaten in the first 2 races by his teammate Valtteri Bottas. Then we've got Carlos Sainz surprisingly down in 7th behind Rosberg in the Williams in the other Silver Arrow, and then Bottas rounding out the top 8 in the other Williams. In 9th and 10th we've got both the Force Indias, Nico Hulkenberg, Kimi Raikkonen. 11th and 12th we've got Jolyon Palmer and Roman Grosjean, both in the Toro Rossos. 13th, 14th we've got Fernando Alonso, still underperforming in this poorly engined McLaren. Then Kevin Magnussen 14th in the Renault. Pascal Wehrlein doing pretty well in the Manor in 15th. Danny Kvyat in 16th in the Haas. Esteban Gutierrez in the other Haas in 17th. Esteban Ocon 18th in the other Manor. And then we've got Rafael Marciello just pipping Carmen Jorda to 19th. So Marciello really struggling in his first season at McLaren. Carmen Jorda still, I've gone on about her enough times why Renault gave her that seat. Who knows why? But let's get straight into the race here. We can't actually see the start line here because of this walkway. Let's try and get a good angle on this. You need good starts from both these drivers. Hopefully Perez doesn't have a bad start here. It looks like Perez is away a little bit better than Vettel, but Vettel's got the corner and Hamilton uses that to his advantage there. Has Perez got enough speed here to get back in front of Hamilton? Yes, it is Hamilton that's actually in front there. Oh, come on, Perez, we can keep up here. Right, so Hamilton's actually keeping. Hamilton's in full overtake mode here. He's burning tons of fuel up and not being able to catch up with Vettel here. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to sit back with Perez here and wait for Hamilton to turn his engine down. And we should be able to come back at him at that point. We're just going to let him waste his fuel here because he's stuck behind Vettel anyway. He's possibly going a little bit quicker than Vettel because he's running in full overtake mode. But he is actually being held up here, and Perez is actually managing to keep up with Hamilton pretty well. When's he going to turn that engine down? He's already turned the tyres down. He doesn't have much temperature in the tyres because we don't have much temperature. This China track is pretty hard to get the tyre temps up. And it looks like Hamilton's starting to fall behind here, so we're going to go back into high mode with Perez. We could even go overtake mode once we catch back up with him. We can almost start now going back into medium mode with Vettel, who should be able to pull away from Hamilton like that. Perez now is catching back up with Hamilton. Hopefully we can get right on the back of him on this straight. Let's go into overtake mode from here. We're just going to run overtake mode down this really long pit straight. Have we got enough speed down the straight? Yes, we have. Perez makes a late dive up the inside. Has he got enough momentum? Has Hamilton got it on the outside? No, Perez dives up into this little S-bend here. We'll run medium from this point on. I think we've got enough pace over the Mercedes to run in medium, even with Perez's car, which is a little bit, it's not rated as highly as the one that Vettel has. We might even think about for the next race giving Perez the better car, just to see how close Vettel and Perez are if they're in sort of similar machinery. Because once we've got all the parts sort of evened up, the better car is only going to be about 20 points better in certain categories, or maybe we should just give them an even car. Obviously we can't give them a totally even car because we can't quite give them the same engine or gearbox and front wing and whatnot, but we'll try and match them up as best we can. Meanwhile, Perez is having a little bit of trouble getting away from Hamilton here. We're trying to get some more temperature in these tyres, but we're going to have to go neutral now, otherwise these tyres aren't going to get through to what we need. What did we need out of these tyres? 8 laps we can go. Yeah, we're possibly there, another 2 laps. We've got plenty of tyre left, and we've got plenty of fuel left as well, just in case we end up getting into a bit of trouble. There doesn't look like there's any rain forecast here, so we're in no trouble here. So let's just have a quick look at what the rest of the race is doing. Hamilton's in 3rd, we've got Ricciardo back in 4th, who's got a nice comfortable gap. Sainz has managed to get up to 5th, he's managed to get past Rosberg and Verstappen. Verstappen there, Rosberg is quite a bit further down the road. Hulkenberg already thinking about making a pit stop this early. Then we've got Raikkonen, his teammate, just behind him in 9th, Palmer in 10th. 20th, Weiss. Verlaine must have had a crash on the first lap. I don't know who he's crashed with. He's having a lot of problems. Is he already in a pit stop? Yes, he has. It looks like he must have hit Bottas going into the first corner or something, because Bottas has already made a pit stop as well and finds himself all the way down in 15th. Marciello Jorda up in 16th and 17th. So that's what everyone else is doing at the moment. Meanwhile, we're going to have to start thinking about coming to the pits. Are we going to go? We're going to let Vettel. We're going to have to try conserve, otherwise these tyres are going to wear out. Because we're going to have to go to. Got another lap and a half to go with Perez. Whereas Vettel can now come in for these medium tyres. We're not going to risk anything on the pit stop. We've got about a. We're not actually pulling away from the Mercedes as much as we have been doing, but then again, that's because we're not running any higher engine modes here. We usually just run high for quite a bit, but we're not really pushing things this time. Maybe after this pit stop, once we've got this medium tyre on, Maybe we should go... We'll go full overtake mode here with Perez. Just see if we can get him close to... See if we can get him close to Vettel. Hamilton, meanwhile, has also come into the pits, and there's been a mistake on Vettel's pit stop, which has allowed Hamilton to get out of the back of him. So we're going to have to go high mode here with Vettel. I'm going to push these tyres a little bit just to get a little bit of temperature into these medium tyres. Perez, meanwhile, has got a 24-second gap, and Vettel is closing that gap a tiny little bit here. So we've got to go ahead now and set up this pit stop for Perez. Should we go fast? It's still estimated to be first if he gets a balanced pit stop here. I do think that Vettel's going to be able to get back past. No, it doesn't look like it. Vettel's lost a little bit of speed there. We're going to go back into high mode here, get a little bit of temperature into these tyres. It's going to be close. Oh, Perez just... Vettel just gets past him there right at the line. So we're going to go medium on the tyres with Vettel. He's got the temperature in him. In these tyres now. So our two Ferraris pretty close to each other, hitting some back markers already on the 9th lap. Hamilton 3 seconds behind, although he's actually gaining a little bit, is he? Hamilton's actually gaining, but he's wasting his fuel load at the moment. We've got enough gap there to comfortably stay in front of him, even though he's running overtake mode. I don't know how much the Mercedes has been able to catch up after those first two races, whether they've been pumping a load of money into the car of Hamilton's. He does seem to be doing a little better this time. We will be able to see in a little bit how far we can pull if we just remain in high mode for a little bit. This is how we can tell now, because Hamilton's turned down. Once he turns down, we should pull away pretty rapidly, and there we are, still pulling away. So we're still a long way in front of this Mercedes. A pretty comfortable amount ahead still. Look at that, Hamilton's falling back. So let's just see what he did on that last lap of 118. Let's just see what we do now from this lap. Just see what we can do. What is Vettel going to do? He did a 116.3 last lap. Perez actually quicker on the last lap, but he was pushing his tyres a tiny little bit more. So Vettel does it in a 117.1, 117.5 for Perez, whereas Hamilton does a 119.2. That's almost 2 seconds slower there from Hamilton. No, he's just running medium for both things. So we're going to just keep going with the high engine mode, get a little bit of a gap in between our Ferraris and the Mercedes of Hamilton, just to allow for any mistakes or any unforeseen circumstances like an engine just randomly going. As we approach lap 13 now, pretty comfortable at the halfway point in the race. So what has happened to the rest of the order here is a couple... Bottas has made 2 pit stops already. Verline having real problems with his car has done 3 pit stops. Bottas approaching back into the top 10. We've got Magnussen in the Renault. Grosjean and Palmer in the Toro Rosso is doing alright. They're going to pick up some more points for the Toro Rosso here. Verstappen's still struggling in 7th, and he's behind the Force India of Hulkenberg. Verstappen's been having a lot of reliability with his car this season. I don't know whether that's the case again this season. Doesn't look to be. It hasn't actually made any more pit stops. No, he doesn't have any problems with his car. And we've got the 2 Mercedes in 3rd and 4th here. So we're now on lap 14. Still a little while to go before the next pit stop, and we're in the red on fuel. We don't have to turn down at this point because we will be able to recover it later, but we might as well run medium now. We've got a nice comfortable 10-second gap going back from Perez to Hamilton. Hamilton, it looks like he's stuck behind Kvyat at the moment. Just gets past him and got stuck behind Kvyat at the back marker. So it looks like Alonso's going to go a long time here. He's still got quite a lot of life left in this medium tyre, but interesting to see whether he tries to one-stop this race. Ricciardo's gone through a pair of hard tyres pretty quickly, although he's managed to get back past Sainz at some point. And Sainz is now, looks like he's falling behind. Is he falling behind? Yeah, there's about a second gap there from Ricciardo to Sainz. Vettel, meanwhile, is first, hitting more back markers here. He's still going quicker than Perez, and we've still got a massive gap back to Hamilton. We've got 11 laps to go. We've got quite a while to go before we can come in for a soft tyre, although we're going to go through these tyres pretty quickly. As I said, with this Chinese Grand Prix, it's really hard to get temperature in the tyres. I'm not too worried about it though, because the AI will be having problems with getting temperature into their tyre as well. It's not because of It's not because the air temperature's too cold. I guess it's just this Chinese track in the game. It's really hard to get tyre temp in this. Whereas Hamilton has already made a pit stop. He's gone for the hards. We're going to have to come in this lap for... Yeah, we're going to have to come in this lap for Vettel. We're not going to be able to do the last stint on a soft tyre here. But what we'll do is we'll try drag Perez out to the point where he can put a soft tyre on. And just see what we can get over Vettel. The cliff drop off, which is what this game class is when the tyre loses pretty much all performance. The super soft and soft tyre, is it? No, the super soft is 20%. I think the soft tyre is 15%. The medium tyre is 10%, whereas the hard tyre can get all the way to 0% without losing too much performance over what the tyre would be doing at, like, say, 30%. Perez is wanting to attack a bit more here, but he needs to get through. No, he can actually come in this lap for the soft tyre and be pretty comfortable from this point on, can't he? It says he is close enough to attack Sebastian Vettel. We will be battling. We'll try a fast one with Perez. Pardon me. We'll go back up into neutral. We'll overtake from this point. But Vettel is pretty close. He's 16 seconds here. But Perez is going to have the quicker tyre for the last stint of the race here. And we'll just see how quicker the soft tyre is over the medium here. Vettel's going to come around there. I'm going to go back up into high with Vettel. Perez, meanwhile, we'll just let him get back up to speed here, about 6.5 seconds behind Vettel. Can he close that gap before the end of the race? It looks like he's slowly gaining that. The soft tyre has the highest performance for 3 laps of the race, so you're gonna do the quickest times off this soft tyre for the first 3 laps. Then after that 3 laps, I think you'll lose we'll round it up to about 3/4 of the second you lose. The medium tyre, meanwhile, can do 4 laps at its peak performance before dropping off a tiny bit. And we're going to see if that actually works out now, whether that game file actually makes sense here. Because Perez is actually gaining pretty rapidly here. This is his 3rd lap on this tyre, so he should be quite a bit quicker than the tyre that Vettel's got on. I think he's done 4 or 5 on this tyre? He's gaining enough, is Perez, that he could possibly make the overtake before the end of the race. We've got 5 laps remaining. Ah, and we've got rain. We've actually got rain. Didn't say it was going to rain here. Bottas has already made a pit stop. We're going to have to go around on a partly wet track here. And we're going to have to double stack these cars, aren't we? I think we're far enough ahead that it's not going to bother. Oh, I thought we were going to get a chance then to see if Perez could actually chase down Vettel, but it doesn't look like we're going to have that opportunity now because they're going to go on similar tyres. Is Perez going to get close enough before the pit stop? He's actually... Because he was lapping nearly 2 seconds quicker than Vettel with the soft tyres on, that he would have been able to make the overtake before the end of the race. Now we have to double stack these cars. The Mercedes are staying out. Both Mercedes are was that both Mercedes? Yeah, both Mercedes have decided to stay out here. Where's Sainz? It says he's in front. Why does it still say he's in 4th? I have no idea. Is that because he's slowing down? Have we lapped Sainz? Oh, we have. How? I didn't realise we were that far in front of all the other cars. What's happened here? 521 seconds ahead of Verlaine. That's because he's had so many problems. I didn't even realise that we'd lapped one of the Mercedes here. So how's Hamilton managed to keep up? Is Hamilton's car that much better than the car that Mercedes have given Sainz? Is that because they try to keep up with us and have one really strong car and one car that's not really as good as the other? That might have cost Hamilton a little bit. No, it's not going to cost him any because he's miles in front as well. So we're going to get past Hamilton pretty easy here as he's on a hard tyre here. Don't know if he's going to stay out another lap. Is Hamilton really going to try go around here? No, he's going to dive into the pits now. It looks like he's going to have some part fixes as well. So we've got 1st and 2nd back now, pretty comfortable to the end of the race. Perez is now falling behind. No, they're staying pretty even. It looks like they're staying pretty even here. Let's just see what they can get off their next lap times. So Vettel does his lap in a 1:16.2. Perez does a 1:16.8. So Perez is now about 6 tenths slower than Vettel. We're not going to get that little interesting little thing that we would have had towards the end of the race, thanks to this little bit of rain right towards the end of the session. But a good race nonetheless. First and second, Hamilton now is 46, 47, 49, 50, 52, 55, 57. Hamilton's really dropping off here. What's up with Hamilton? Is his car blown? No, Hamilton's car's blown. I think we've got problems with all the cars. Bottas, meanwhile, is in fourth. He doesn't have any problems with his car. Is Bottas going to be able to chase down Hamilton here? He's gaining on him pretty rapidly. Could the Williams get on the podium here and stop? Just watching Vettel come across the line there. Perez comes across in second pretty much. Could Williams... No, Hamilton's now finished. Is that because we lapped him? It did. We just lapped Hamilton before the line there, didn't we? So that saved Hamilton. Otherwise, Bottas would have caught him on that last lap, I feel, depending on what part of his car's gone. So pretty lucky there from Hamilton that we managed to lap everyone else in the race. We lapped every other car in that race. Hamilton did that last lap in a 2:01. Real problems with his car on the last lap. I don't know why he didn't fix it when he made that pit stop right and a couple of laps right before the end. But just an absolutely dominating performance there where we lapped every other car in the field. A lot of cars still having a lot of reliability problems. 15, who's that? Kvyat. He's in the Haas. His car's broken as well. It looks like it does take the AI cars a very long time to get up to scratch reliability wise, whereas we managed to do that in the off season. But another 1-2 result, nothing to scoff at here. Absolutely dominating performance. That little bit of rain messing it up at the end where we could have seen whether Perez could have got past Vettel. Scrutineering, we don't have any risky parts. I don't think anyone else would have at this part of the season. 6 seconds back to Perez. That's not too bad from Perez there. He's pretty close to Vettel. And there we go. Lewis Hamilton lapped. And then we got past Alonso twice during the race. We got past Raikkonen 3 times during the race. We got past Gutierrez 4 times. And look at that, Verline plus 2 laps. Must have lapped Verline 6 times. Verline having real problems here, having to do 6 pit stops in a 26 lap race. Crazy. So 1 and 2 there. Another trophy. Another fun complement of points. Now Mercedes now equal with Red Bull. Williams 4th, McLaren 5th, Toro Rosso 6th, Renault 7th, Manor 8th, Force India 9th, and Haas really struggling this season with Kvyat and Gutierrez. It looks like Haas could be making the drop down to GP2 at the end of this season. But here we go, everyone happy now. Mick Schumacher, who did the practice session, should be gaining a little bit in stats as well. Perez still improving. Smoothness, Perez can't get any better at cornering. Yeah, new personality trait added, that'll be morale. We should have 2.5, yeah, because we've got bonuses to pay out as well for both drivers finishing first and second. So we'll just stick around for about a minute more here. We're just going to see whether we can film that last sponsorship slot up here with a 5-star sponsor. Just have a quick look at the mail. Nothing interesting there. Car repair complete. Doesn't look like we've got the next... We're still waiting on this. Car repair complete. Verline looking for a way out. Verline looks unhappy at Manor. So Verline is looking for a way out. So maybe we could go with Verline next season. We'll leave it open at the moment. It's probably going to be Charles Leclerc, or we'll go Verline. Mackability plus 40. He's already got 100% anyway, so, but he's also a keen sim racer, so his overtaking's gone up by 1 now. Is F1 waving goodbye to the Singapore Grand Prix? So we've got a vote coming up on Singapore Grand Prix. That'll be on the next episode. We've got this gearbox built. It doesn't look like we've had the sponsorship in yet, so we've had this gearbox built, so we really need to stick that in here now. It's a 1163. It's almost 30 higher than the best one that we've got at the moment. It's going to be ready for the next race. Should I build anything else just yet? Wonder what we can get out of an engine. Plus 10. Yeah, plus 50, that's risky. We don't want any risky parts. The one thing that we don't want is risky parts and end up being demoted. We can get up to a 1306 with the next engine. I think we'll have a little bit of a break from building stuff. We'll try and get a few more things done to the HQ. So we're just waiting for that to come through now. Where? Doesn't look like we're going to get another sponsorship. There we go, that's a sponsorship offer. Hopefully it's the good one. We've got SAP here. £850,000 per race with 2.5 million up front. So Rolex per race would give us an even 1 million, because this would work out at £350,000 per race. This works out at about £190,000 per race. This is about a little bit better than the Rolex one by about £50,000 per race. So I'm definitely going to go with SAP here now. So we're back in the green. We're now getting close to £2 million per race, plus the 1.7 from Santander. Takes us to nearly 4 million. It's £3.7 million per race. So we're going to have tons of money coming in. We've got Barcelona coming up in 3 days. Do we have the vote before that race? So we'll do the vote next episode. We've got a fun wet race at Barcelona coming up, so that should be pretty interesting. But that's where we're going to leave this episode for now. I hope you have enjoyed this Chinese Grand Prix. Another 1-2 from us. Thank you everybody for subscribing. I think I have just crossed the 400 subscriber mark, so thank you everybody for subscribing. If you are not already subscribed and want to see how we keep doing in this Ferrari car, please hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a thumbs up if you like that video and leave a comment as well. But until next time, I will see you down the road in Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix, and goodbye.